Hi, this is Carmen Dalman, director of the High Desert Screening, and today I came to visit Back to One Productions. And the owner is Robert Elliott, which is the founder, right?
I am. I'm the founder and CEO of Back to One Entertainment Productions. Yeah.
Awesome. Tell us when this business started and what was your motivation to start it, how everything.
Well, that's kind of an interesting story. As we were discussing earlier, I worked as a prop guy in the film industry. And one day, my prop master and I were discussing the accessibility of eyeglasses for actors, because you have to do a specific treatment to the lenses for glasses that are on camera. And so I decided to start a company doing that. Very quickly learned it's kind of feast or famine. Either a show has tons of glasses or no glasses at all. And so I had, after about a year and a half, I did a kind of a transition in my career in the film industry. And I had already accumulated quite a bit of stuff. And I realized that New Mexico as a whole could use an additional resource as part of the infrastructure for the art department and film production and TV production here in the state. And so I got this brilliant idea that I was going to start a prop house. And growing up in the industry, or in the entertainment industry, my initial start was in theater, and as a kid I used to love to go up into the prop department in the theaters and just kind of sit there and imagine stories about all the different props.
How old you were
10, 11.
Wow.
And so, you know, I think Ginger, are you okay? So when I found myself as a career as a prop guy in film, it was kind of a full circle event. So anyway, I bought a piece of property down here in the South Valley of Albuquerque and had a bright idea to move in a bunch of semi-trailers. So I parked 8 trailers in my backyard, essentially, and had a bunch of big metal shipping containers, and we just started packing it full of stuff. And we ran it that way for, I think, 3 years, 3 or 4 years. The first year was just kind of packing everything in there and then trying to sort it out and make it something that people could actually use. Mm-hmm. You know, they could go in and they could shop, and it was less than ideal, but it slowly started to become a small resource in the area and for the art department on productions. And so we started building a little bit of a name, and after 3-4 years, we had kind of slowly, steadily built our business. It was not a get-rich-quick scheme at all. But then in 2020, I was actually helping a friend with one of the warehouses around the corner, and there was a space available sign on this building. And so in February, we moved everything from my property here, and it took us a full month to move everything back and forth.
I can see.
Well, and at the time, we only had the offices in this main warehouse. We didn't have the other 2. So my inventory has grown exponentially since then. But we didn't set up. We got everything in here. When we painted the building, it was a bit messy when we moved in, and got all the stuff in here, and then COVID hit. And so we had made the investment to move here, and we were not able to really
His face.
yeah, right. You know, we weren't able to do anything for 6 months, and then when New Mexico started to open up, we were lucky enough to get the first production that started shooting as one of our clients, and it just a few shows that happened at the very end of 2020 was just enough to kind of help us creep through the end of the year.
You got through.
Yeah, barely, and it was a pretty heavy hit. But you know, I was already on the hook for everything at that point, and so I thought, well, I'll give 2021 a shot. And from the beginning of the start of the business, it was always like, well, let's see where we're at in 6 months. You know, it might be a big yard sale in 6 months, and every 6 months I'd hit my minimum. Be like, okay, well, I can't give up yet. We're gonna make it a little at a time. And the whole time I was also working in the industry as well. So I was
No,
working.
you do other things, right? You were telling me.
I do. And so you do about 80 hours at work, and then you come home and run your business. And so it really pretty much has taken up between those two things my entire life for the past, 6-7 years. And so 2021, we started pulling this stuff apart and trying to make sense of it, and it's gone through many evolutions just in this space alone. But we were able to expand into that little tiny warehouse where the pool table is, and into the bigger warehouse where the Western stuff is.
And the creepy room.
And the creepy room. Well, we had the creepy room to begin with, but we. So 2021 was still kind of half and half COVID. The first half was still pretty slow, but then the last half really made up for it because the floodgates opened and we got really busy. So then 2022, weirdly, was in a way kind of our first year in business in a very weird way, because it was the first year that we were in a brick and mortar, not running out of the backyard, and we didn't have COVID to speak of. It wasn't shutting us down or anything like that. So 2022 was a good year, and gave us an opportunity to see what we were doing right, what we were doing wrong, what we can improve on, and kind of really solidify ourselves as a resource for New Mexico television and film production. And so at the end of the year, at the end of 2022, I was really excited, and I still am. We had a really good first quarter this year, and so we're looking forward to 2023 being a continuation. And as we go along, I'm hoping that we can continue to be a positive for the New Mexico film industry here.
So you provide props to almost all the productions that are in New Mexico, or also out of New Mexico, just New Mexico?
We've only had a couple clients that were out of state. Predominantly, our clientele, 98% of our clientele is in-state filming. But we also, if students are doing films or whatever, we've had super indie productions come in, and we actually even had a production film here over a weekend. They came in, or I opened up for them, and they came in and used the facility to shoot, and that was super indie. But it's fun, that's really kind of one of the cool aspects for me anyway. And I try and get kids to work here that want to go in the film direction, and it's a good opportunity to kind of get your feet wet and start to learn at least one aspect. While we're not directly in the process of the production, we're very film adjacent, and I try and impart some of my own experience so that they get a little bit more than just a job kind of thing. But it gives them an opportunity to start meeting people and make connections that way. And as a matter of fact, one of the guys that worked with me when we were in the trailers in the backyard, and then helped us move everything over here and kind of work that first little bit after. He's now an assistant prop master.
So he's working on the prop department?
Yes. And
the union.
Correct. And on good productions. I mean, he's doing really, really well, and I'm super proud of him. He's like probably my biggest success story. And Sarin Harvey, you're doing great. So that's also another good positive or opportunity that this company really looks forward to being able to provide in the future.
I gotta say something though. He just took me to a tour to this amazing, huge place, and I have to say that you can find anything here. Like you have any kind of props, like skeletons, Bibles, photos of celebrities, antiques, right? You're based more like in the antique.
We do. We try and veer away from the contemporary inventory. To stock contemporary furniture doesn't really make sense when you can go to American Home Furnishings and buy it.
Yeah.
Or any number of places. So we really kind of try and specialize in stuff that's A, either really hard to find, or B, you're just not going to find, at your typical local store or Walmart or, any of those places. Well, I don't know if I can mention names of businesses.
I don't know.
But so we try and specialize in a little bit more avant-garde stuff. We certainly have things that are needed a lot in some ways, like stanchions and the flags.
I'm gonna take a couple pictures and I'm gonna record a couple of your stuff because he has from anything from police uniforms to hospital equipment, printers, even washing machines, like they're old.
They are
Typewriters. I mean, like you have. This place is amazing. Like if you are thinking about producing even a short film, and it's based in the, I don't know, 80s, 90s, or there's something creepy like that room, something scary. This is your place. And it's film friendly. You have lamps. You have everything.
Well,
You have everything.
it seems like that, but frankly, we don't, and it's virtually impossible for one facility to have everything. I mean, it's just there's so much of everything. So in New Mexico, I think the more vendors that we have that pick their specialties, that pick their niches, the better
like
we're.
telephones, like Breaking Bad, and then the old telephones, like
Right,
the cell phones.
the more of us that there are, the bigger and better the infrastructure is going to be for New Mexico film overall, and the more business it's going to garner from productions coming from out of state. And so really the film community out here needs all of us. And we all have kind of hammered out, at least the few of us that have really been after this for quite a few years, have hammered out our own specialties, if you will. So the decorators and the prop masters have they know to go to this place for that, and this another place for
Well, let
this.
me ask you something. What is the weirdest thing that someone had request or ask you and you didn't have it?
Oh, well, gosh. Quite a few things, there's, frankly, sometimes they ask us and we're like, we're not sure, and then, a week later we'll find it. Oh, God. My problem is that I usually go out and get it. If I get a phone call, I'm like, somebody's going to want that again someday, so I'll go get it. Our taxidermy, we were very light on for a while, and then I've really kind of tried to bolster that and make it so that we do. We even have a leg lamp, so I'm trying to get as much as I can. But we've the other day we got asked if we had oilcloth, like that you find a lot in Mexico that they use, that has the various prints and stuff on it, and it comes in bolts, and it wasn't even something that occurred to me. I was like, oh, okay, well now we have to look at that being something that we can try and accommodate for our clients.
So you have to go to Mexico.
Well, yeah, actually, I haven't planned the trip yet, but we need to go down there and see what we can find. Of course, I did my computer search and get some stuff, but you always get. It's better to go to a source to get kind of a higher quality or a more authentic kind of product. But there have been over the years tons of odds and ends. Do you have snakes? Do you have this or do you have that? And you're just kind of like, okay, and you figure it out, right? We're lacking in prison beds right now, so and that's one of the things that I'm trying to solve. I've gotten a couple phone calls. Do you have prison cots? And they take up a lot of space, so it's a lot of real estate to store.
I know this place is huge.
And,
totally see the space issue.
Yeah, it's a game of like half inches here and there. You got to scoot everything to try and fit it. But we really do work hard to listen to those random requests and see what we can do about it. I had one client come in Monday. Let's say Tuesday. Yes.
Today's Tuesday.
Maybe it was last Friday. Anyway, they run together. But he had been here before and he thought I had marionettes. But I have ventriloquist dolls. So he was like, I thought they were marionettes, so we had to have this discussion about
the difference
between what they actually were, and I was like, well, they might work. Put some strings on them. Let's see what. And it just didn't work out for their needs. So sometimes you get real close.
Well, you cannot have it all, like you said. It's a lot.
But
From
we
science to everything.
We do try and keep tabs on who has what as much as possible, so that we can refer out. There's another prop house that's 90 seconds away from here, and they're a bit different. We predominantly cater to set decoration, whereas those guys are predominantly like hand props for actors and that sort of thing.
More specific.
The minutia, the small stuff. And they handle like tactical stuff and guns, and that's just not really our forte. So when people call us, we certainly refer to them. And if there's another set deck house that I think might have something that we don't have, we absolutely send them that way. Because ultimately, if we're going to be the resource for New Mexico film production in the state that we want to be, and that we're trying to be, it's, of course, we love to have the item, but it's also part of the deal to help the client get the item no matter where it comes from.
Whatever they need.
Absolutely. And I'll go, if I can find it and, we need to buy it to provide it for them, well, we've done that in the past.
But that's how you build also your inventory, and you might rent it again.
Correct.
Now you have it available.
Right. And sometimes it doesn't work out because you go and you get the item and then you're like, okay, we got it and it's ready for you, and they're like, we're not going to use it anymore.
Oh, no way.
So then you're like, oh,
No.
okay. But then you end up with the item, like you said. And
We
so
have it there.
we do have it there, and we're able to help another client down the road with it. And it usually pays for itself. There have been a few times when I've been like, well, that was a bummer, and it was just a total loss. But, and we're trying to fit that niche as much as possible, and I've discovered that our clients kind of come here. There's some standards that they come here for, but then they also do come here for like a lot of the accent pieces that are really kind of the icing on the cake, if you will, that top off their set. And we have steady hours here. We're open 5 days a week. We have people here to help our clients shop or kind of guide them through our inventory, and we try and keep it to be. We want it to be a fun place to come and a pleasant place to.
It is definitely an interesting place to come visit.
Well, thank you very
totally
much.
recommend that.
Thank you very much.
Even if you're not making any movies.
Right. I have done a couple tours. I've had some friends who had young kids, and they're like, "Can I bring my kids by?" And so
Yeah,
we've done some tours, and
yeah.
you just watch that's always the funnest part, is watching kids' eyes just open up. And my only hope is that one of them someday grows up and remembers this as something that was very cool for them. And so, we've definitely taken people through just for pure entertainment kind of thing. So it's a lot of fun, it beats working in a cubicle, I'll tell you that much. And, I've learned a lot over the course of building the business. I mentioned earlier that 2022 was in a weird way our first year, but I started the process of this business in late 2015, or the idea of it. And
you started building it little by little since 2015,
Right.
which is a while back.
It's 8 years ago now. So, I think we started putting together our first very bad website in 2016. And we were still definitely in the trailers and just trying to shuck it out. And so it's been a journey, getting home after 16 hours and then
Well,
trying
it survived when it was the most
Oh, yeah,
difficult time
absolutely.
off, and I think you are growing. I think you're doing a great job, and I'm so glad that you're here for us because there's a lot of things happening in New Mexico. This happens to be convenient and so handy, and
Hope so.
and I wish you success on
Thank you
this
very
on
much.
this. And I seriously, once again, not to bother you, but even if you're not making a movie, come visit this place. It's super interesting. You're gonna love it.
Well, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity.
Do you wanna tell people that are watching us where you're located and your
Oh,
hours of
gotcha.
operation?
So our main facility is at 5330 William, without an S. We're just a little bit west of Broadway in the South Valley, south of Rio Bravo. So kind of down in the New Mexico Film Warehouse District, if you will.
Yeah, I was trying to find you, and I actually came here, but then it says Suite D, and on the front it says Suite A. So I was like, probably Suite D is over there. So I went over there to the neighbor, and he's like, no, but I see a bunch of trailers from the movie industry that they park over there. And I'm like, it has to be there.
Yeah, we've been having a fight with Google for a while. So we're Suite A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to remedy that with Google for
Do you have a website or you
We
are
do.
on Facebook, but are you?
We do have a website, and we actually just switched over our software in the fall. So we're reloading stuff onto the website. So
Build it.
we've got probably 1% of our inventory on the website currently, but it's b21props.com. And so you can go there and take a look, and eventually once everything's up there, you'll be able to build set lists and quote requests. And currently you can fill out an account application and set up an account with us fairly easy on the website. So this new software program that we're working with is great. The guy who runs the software program has become a very good friend, and it's really kind of helping kick our game up quite a bit. So hopefully this time next year we'll have a good chunk on the website. And if you're from here, shooting a picture in some other location, we hope to be a resource for those folks as well. And people who've never been here will hopefully be able to.
And I love the name, Back to One. Like when you're on set and it's like, Back to One!
Right.
Yeah.
So we just, we want people to be able to use us, and we want to be able to help. That's the biggest thing. So.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Robert,
I appreciate
and, see you guys later, and come visit us. Bye.
it. Bye bye.